In 2008, the global financial system nearly collapsed. Banks failed, governments panicked, trillions vanished. Trust in money itself was breaking apart. Then, someone anonymous released a 9-page document onto the internet. No company, no government, no face, just an idea. An idea that would create Bitcoin and ignite the digital currency age. Welcome to Passive Gecko, where we uncover the stories behind the numbers. Join me as we delve into the economic forces that shape our world. Long before Bitcoin existed, people dreamed of digital money. In the 1990s, cryptographers and programmers believed the internet needed its own currency, something borderless, something independent from banks, something governments couldn't inflate endlessly. Projects like DigiCash attempted to create electronic money, but every system had the same weakness: centralization. Someone still controlled it: a company, a server, a trusted middleman. And if that central authority failed, the entire system failed with it. In the 80s and 90s, networks creaked online dial-up tones, green terminals, hobbyist labs. Cypherpunks debated digital cash and privacy. Banks computerized, scaling faster than oversight. Each attempt stumbled on trust, control, single points of failure, central servers, gatekeepers, and fragile ledgers. Those unsolved problems set the stage for what came next. After decades of relative stability, the global economy faced its most severe test since the Great Depression, the financial crisis of 2008. At its heart, the world's largest banks had taken on massive, unchecked risks, bundling millions of subprime mortgages into complex financial products so opaque that almost no one understood the risk they were spreading throughout the global system. When the American housing market buckled, the dominoes began to fall and panic spread worldwide. To prevent a total collapse, governments stepped in with historic bailouts, injecting trillions into the very banks that had caused the problem. To many, it felt like a profound betrayal. Ordinary citizens lost their homes and jobs, paying the price for Wall Street's recklessness, while the institutions deemed too big to fail survived. Confidence in traditional finance was fundamentally shaken, and hidden inside Bitcoin's very first block, mined in January 2009, was a message. The Times, 3 January 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. It wasn't just a timestamp. It was a declaration of purpose, a direct commentary on the failure of the existing financial order. This headline, sealed in Bitcoin's first block, tied it to the 2008 crisis, but with a fixed supply and proof of work securing each entry, an origin stamp challenging bailouts, middlemen, and money printing. Late 2008, an anonymous person using the name Satoshi Nakamoto released the Bitcoin whitepaper. The document described a completely decentralized digital currency. No banks, no central servers, no single authority controlling transactions. Instead, Bitcoin relied on a network of computers around the world. Every transaction would be verified publicly through a system called the blockchain. For the first time in history, digital money could exist without trust in a central institution, and nobody knew who created it. On Bitcoin Talk, Satoshi answered questions, recommended fixes, and fostered the technology. Early miners tested releases, reported bugs, and debated design, supply, privacy, and fees. Code, not titles, earned trust while Satoshi remained unseen. In the very beginning, Bitcoin had no real market value. It wasn't traded on any exchanges. It couldn't buy you anything. It was a purely experimental project, a digital curiosity shared among a small circle of cryptographers and cypherpunks. Its value was entirely conceptual, a shared belief in the potential of a decentralized digital currency. Early users, the true pioneers, mined new coins simply by running the software on their ordinary home computers. The process was designed to be accessible, allowing anyone with a standard CPU to participate in securing the network and creating new Bitcoin. To the outside world, it was invisible. Most people ignored it completely. But slowly, out of sight, a small but dedicated online community formed around the project. In these early forums and chat rooms, developers collaborated to improve the software, miners worked to secure the network, and believers spread the idea, one post at a time. Then came the moment that would give Bitcoin its first tangible real-world value, one of the most famous transactions in internet history. On the 22nd of May 2010, a programmer named Laszlo Hanyecz successfully traded 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 large pizzas. At the time, the coins were worth roughly $40. It was a proof of concept. Today, those same Bitcoin would be worth hundreds of millions, forever immortalizing 2 pizzas as the most expensive meal ever purchased. As Bitcoin's profile grew, so did the controversy surrounding it. The technology was rapidly moving beyond its small circle of early adopters and into the public consciousness, where it was met with both fascination and fear. Its pseudonymous nature, a feature celebrated by privacy advocates, also attracted those operating in the shadows. The most notorious example was Silk Road, an online black market on the dark web. Its use of Bitcoin for illicit transactions brought intense negative media attention, cementing a criminal association in the public's mind. Alarmed, governments and financial regulators around the world began investigating the technology, questioning its potential for money laundering and tax evasion. Critics called Bitcoin dangerous, a speculative bubble fueled by hype, pointing to its wild price swings as proof of its instability. Then, disaster struck. In 2014, Mt. Gox, at the time the world's largest Bitcoin exchange, suddenly collapsed, claiming to have lost hundreds of thousands of customer coins in a hack. The event was catastrophic, wiping out fortunes and shaking the nascent community to its core. For many observers, this was the final nail in the coffin. They believed Bitcoin itself would die. But the network kept running. The protocol didn't care about the failure of a centralized company. There was no shutdown, no bailout, no central authority to rescue it. It was a stark demonstration of Bitcoin's decentralized design. Instead of disappearing, Bitcoin continued growing. Investors entered the market. Major companies began buying Bitcoin for their balance sheets. Financial institutions that once dismissed crypto started building products around it. In 2021, El Salvador became the first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. At the same time, massive industrial mining operations emerged across the world. What began as an experiment on obscure internet forums had evolved into a global financial asset. From late 2020 onward, headlines surged. Institutions filed Bitcoin funds, and major companies added Bitcoin to their treasuries. Fintech apps put buy buttons beside checking accounts. News anchors argued, bubble or breakthrough. Prices whipsawed, but liquidity deepened, exchanges matured, and professional custody spread. Mining scaled industrially as hash rate hit records. For the first time, households, funds, and even governments watched the same chart and cared. Bitcoin wasn't fringe anymore. It was prime-time finance. Bitcoin also opened the door to something much larger. Thousands of cryptocurrencies followed. Governments began researching digital currencies of their own. Central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, became part of global financial discussions. Blockchain technology expanded beyond money into finance, contracts, gaming, and digital ownership. Whether people support Bitcoin or oppose it, one thing is undeniable. It changed the conversation around money forever. More than a decade after its creation, Bitcoin remains one of the most controversial inventions of the modern era. To some, it represents financial freedom. To others, speculation and risk. But regardless of where it goes next, the digital currency age has already begun. Thanks for joining us. Remember to like and subscribe. See you next time.